Welcome, new managers. If you're ready to really level up your leadership skills, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're not just going to talk about communication, we're going to unlock a superpower, and we're going to do it using the timeless wisdom of the one and only, the legendary business philosopher, Jim Rohn. You see, Rohn believed that our ability to communicate is one of the greatest gifts we have. It's so much more than just giving instructions or, running a meeting. It's the power to literally shape thoughts, to create images in people's minds, and to help someone see something they just couldn't see before. It's a transformative force, and it's available to every single one of us. So that's the big question, right? How do you actually do that? Well, this explainer is built to give you the answer. We're going to break down Jim Rohn's philosophy into a really clear 4-step framework that you can start using pretty much immediately. Okay, let's dive into the playbook. First, we're going to explore why your language is so critical as a leader. Then, we'll walk through the 4 essential steps to mastering it. So, let's start with the foundation. Before we jump into the how, let's really get clear on the why. Why are your words so absolutely crucial in your new role as a manager? Here's a mind shift for you. Think of yourself less as a manager who talks and more like an artist who uses words to paint. Your job is to paint a picture of the future that is so vivid and so clear that your team doesn't just see the goal, they can actually visualize the path forward and exactly where they fit in. And that leads us perfectly into our first step. It sounds almost too simple, but it's incredibly profound. Before you can be a great communicator, you have to have some substance. Your words need to have some weight. And here's the good news. You are already sitting on a goldmine of valuable content. Your substance? It comes from your own life experiences. Rohn urges you to become a student of your own life. Log your failures, journal about your successes, document how you got yourself out of a tight spot. These stories, these are your most powerful communication tools. Of course, having something powerful to say is just the start, right? You've got to deliver it effectively, and that requires preparation. This is step 2, which Rohn argues is the key not just to communication, but to, everything in life, getting ready. Now check out this analogy from Rohn, it's brilliant. A wild beast calf has less than an hour to get on its feet and get ready to run from lions. Humans, it can take us 17 plus years and we're still kind of not sure we're ready. This just perfectly shows that preparation isn't some last-minute scramble. It's a long-term, continuous game of getting ready for whatever comes next. So how do you prepare? Well, it's all about cultivating these 4 qualities. You got to be interested in your people, in the world around you, be fascinated by new ideas, be sensitive to what your team is actually going through, and be a sponge, constantly gather knowledge. This is the bedrock of real preparation. And that idea of sensitivity, it leads us right into what might be the biggest challenge for any manager, leading a group of unique, diverse, and yes, sometimes difficult people. Rohn doesn't sugarcoat it at all. Getting all these different personalities and opinions to pull in the same direction, it's tough. He calls it herding cats. But he also promises that if you can master this skill, the rewards for you and for the team are just incredible. So how do you deal with those really, really tough personalities? You know the ones. Well, Rohn's mentor offered this fantastic piece of advice. When you frame the problem like this, it suddenly becomes manageable. You're not fighting an army of negative people. You just happen to run into one of the 9. And you can totally handle that. So beyond just having the right perspective, Rohn gives us a really practical tool for handling difficult feedback or just general negativity, humor. And it's not about being a comedian. It's about using wit to disarm a tense situation without making it worse. Here's a perfect example of how this plays out. A clever response can just neutralize negativity without starting a big argument. So imagine someone hits you with, "This won't work for me." Your first instinct might be to get defensive, but instead, a witty reply like the one you see here, it completely reframes the whole conversation. It's unexpected, it cuts the tension, and it changes the entire dynamic. And of course, Winston Churchill was the absolute master of this. This classic exchange shows how sharp wit can win the moment, have the last word, and let you keep your cool and your authority. All right, that brings us to the final step, number 4. And this is really the ultimate purpose of all your communication as a leader. It's not just to be heard, it's to create true, genuine understanding. Now, to explain this, Rohn draws this really powerful parallel. He reflects on how, in the story of creation, words created physical light. As a leader, Your words are meant to create something just as powerful. They create sight. Your ultimate goal is to help your team truly see. This is what it's all about. This is the end game. When you can tell a story or frame an idea in just the right way, and a team member finally goes, "Oh, now I see it," that's when you've succeeded. You've moved them from blindness to sight, from confusion to clarity. This quote sums up your duty as a manager perfectly. Your words have to serve two functions. They need to be a lamp that lights up the very next step your team needs to take, and they have to be a light that shows the overall path, the direction you're all heading together. So, how do you put this into action right now? It's simple. Before you walk into your next team meeting, just run through this quick checklist. It ties everything we've talked about together. Get interested, be sensitive to your people, prepare your knowledge, find that one key story, and most important, define the site you want to create for them. And that's the question every great leader has to answer every single day. The power is in your hands, it's in your words, and it's in your stories. Now go and create some sight.